I'm trying to use the process of shooting an arrow towards a target to try to illustrate the model of nonfiction writing. You can see from the picture, I first put an arrow here. This arrow embodies the methodology of nonfiction writing, how to choose topics, how to conduct interviews, and how to write. So just like an arrow, the weight and the quality of the tail end determine how far it can fly. An important, like in the nonfiction writing, an important sharp topic almost determines half of the success of a good report. Next is in the middle, you can see in the middle is the interview, which is the core material of the arrow. It also determines all the materials, included the narrative you can ultimately establish. So without good material, there won't be a good story. With good topics and interviews, your story is essentially established. It's right like in the middle of the arrow. And also, you can see in the arrowhead is writing itself, or you can use more academic word, narrative construction like that. Remember, in your work, this is the final step of your work. But for readers, it's the beginning of their entry into the story. So can you, in the final stage of your work, try to revitalize all the twists and the turns and surprises in your story and bring them to readers through a good narrative? Can you, in this age of very limited attention, use writing techniques to lead readers into one suspense after another, gradually immersing them in the story? Writing is that final hurdle. So writing is the arrowhead. Although I have emphasized the importance of writing a lot, but I must say, never underestimate the power of the real story itself. Real story inherently contain all kinds of drama. So if your topic is good and your interviews are solid, you can just put less is more principle in your writing. No need for more decorations. Just try to respect the story heartfully, fully heart and readers, and that's more than enough. So the target, you can see now the second picture is the target. This arrow is aimed at. This target is your story, the real world behind it, behind the story, and also ultimately the world you want the readers to enter. So this is also the most challenging part of nonfiction writing: how to find a good topic, who to ask, what question for effective interviews, what kind of writing angle will you choose? Each step requires countless decisions, small decisions and judgments, and the qualities of such kind of judgments or decisions is based on your understanding of the world before you and the depths of your understanding. So I try to divide this target into 4 concentric circles. Let's start with the colors from the dark to light. First, you can see this in the second level, it's the story. The story is the basic one, what actually happened, right? What actually happened is the story. The best way to expand it is just using the classic 5W1H principle in journalism. In a specific event, who, when, what, where, why, and how. These basic elements constitute a micro-complete story. If you can clarify all elements of 5W1H, readers' questions will gradually be answered as they follow your narrative. So, however, within this kind of micro story, you'll find that the answers to 2 questions may not be enough, and it's not easy to answer, and you cannot easily to keep it in only one layer. That is why and how. For example, Suppose you are reporting on a demonstration erupting on the campus or on the streets, a large march with maybe over 100,000 participants. Through these on-site interviews, you can learn why people came out today. They will tell you why I came out today, right? Usually, people will tell you about their strong dissatisfaction with the current institutions. For example, they may oppose a government. They may oppose a government passing a certain law, or they may demand a withdrawal of a political decision. But this isn't the only reason. This is not the only one. This reason can be further questioned. You as yourself in front of these guys, you may have questions in your mind. Why don't these people use other moderate methods, right? Why would the government make such decisions despite knowing there is such strong public discontent? And have there been similar incidents in the past? And how did the government handle them before? How did the public react before? Is this an isolated event, or it's a gradually accumulating, intensifying structural contradiction? Why couldn't it have been avoided before it happened? So many questions can go on and on. So answering why and how well, not just at the level of a single event, requires delving into relevant history and structural systems. So here, two additional levels behind the story are unfolded. One is called context. What are the causes and the consequences of this event? Extending the timeline. What are the causes and the consequences of this event in the period of history? And the other is called structure. You can use in the sociology word structure. Why did this event occur not randomly? What kind of structural factors led to it possibly, maybe even inevitably occurring? When the historical context, social and political structures behind the story are revealed, it can help readers understand the dilemmas, motivations, and the logic behind the actions and the choices of every person in your story. Often, it also highlights the value of very small choices. The character's agency can then be portrayed in a very profound way. So at this point, a micro story becomes not just a micro story itself, but also a slice of an era or a slice of a period of history. Finally, I put some very light color in the middle, in the center of the target. I leave the circle called the scene, or the key scene. This is an optional circle, so I've just used a lighter color. But again, from the reader's perspective, this is creating a window for readers to enter your story, context and structure. You can try to think about the opening of your favorite movie or the opening of your favorite documentary. There is also often a scene, and everything that unfolds over the next 2 hours revolves around this core scene. So if you can find such a key scene or image for your story, you will find a very good start to your story. A good start will illuminate the whole entire piece like a flashlight. So, all right, now we have the arrow and the target. So when the arrow hits the target and gets close to the bull's eye, it is the moment that a good story is born. Good arrows take time to polish. You can never gain a good arrow at once. You may need hundreds of practice to slowly craft your good arrow. This takes patience. You also cannot immediately outline a clear target. It also requires a lot of reading and life experience to gradually build up a cognitive framework of a word on your own. So for many young nonfiction writers, a challenge arises here. In the process of starting to practice nonfiction writing, you must endure a long time when your arrow isn't good enough, and also your skills are not precise, and you cannot find the target accurately. You have to keep practicing over and over to get better and better. Many people will worry that what to do if I let a good story down, right? The interviewee trust me and hand a very worthy story to me, but I'm not ready. I'm not skilled enough. My advice is just to shrink the scale of your target, and maybe together your ambition. When you are not skilled enough, at the very beginning, focus on telling micro stories well, just 5W1H in a very simple way. Then step by step, you can try to tell more and more context and more structure, making your story more profound. So in the next round, I will try to expand on the methodology part, the topics, interviews, and the writings in 3 different parts.